Hello, partners! This week we're going to hear a very different kind of story. It is, of course, from the pen of my researcher and writer Dennis Daly. But it's not about a famous person in the past. It's about someone Dennis knew very well. As some of you know, Dennis worked for a radio station in southern Indiana for a decade that was in one of the most historic cities in the Midwest, Vincennes, Indiana. If you look on any map of North America in the early 1700s, just about all you'll see in that part of the world was a little trading village called Vincennes. Its official birth was back in 1732. As the oldest city in the region, Vincennes was at the forefront of the development of Indiana and the Midwest. I mention this because what Dennis found when he went to work in Vincennes, which was about a half hour from his hometown, was the fact that the city was steeped in history. The oldest Catholic church in the Northwest Territories is there in Vincennes. So is the oldest Presbyterian church, along with the oldest newspaper in the Midwest, the oldest national bank west of the Appalachian Mountains, and the oldest university in the United States outside of the original colonies. What Dennis found when he went to work in that city was a wealth of information about history, and more importantly, a tremendous number of people who either played a key role in the city's history or served as historians. One of the neatest men Dennis ever knew was an aging lawyer. We'll call him Kurt. At the time, Kurt was the oldest practicing attorney in Indiana. But that's not all. Kurt was one of the founders of the Sigma Phi fraternity and once served as the president of the local university. He became a well-known historian and wrote several of the most important books on the history of the region. At one time, Kurt became such a well-respected lawyer, he was appointed to the post of judge. Within 10 years, he became the Chief Justice of the Indiana Supreme Court. Golly! While living in Vincennes, Dennis had the opportunity to talk with Judge Kurt many times, mostly at lunchtime that we were together, in what is the oldest restaurant in the United States outside of the original colonies and the Spanish Southwest. The judge told Dennis about his time as head of the local university. He talked about his award-winning history books and his years as a lawyer and being on the bench of Indiana's highest court. What a guy. But it was not until just before Dennis moved from the Vincennes area to Washington, D.C., that he learned something about Kurt that everyone else knew, but Dennis didn't. One Sunday night, Dennis had the judge on his weekly talk show. He led off a question. It was an interesting one. After introducing Kurt as the one person in the area who needed no introduction, Dennis asked, "Judge, what is your fondest memory?" The aging jurist didn't hesitate one moment. Here was his answer. "Dennis, my most important moment was when I served as a chief prosecutor at the Nuremberg war crimes trials." What? That's right. Dennis's friend, Judge Curtis Shake, was at Nuremberg trials through many sessions, including those that were dealt with slave labor. As a matter of fact, when Hollywood made the movie about the trials, the scriptwriter spent long hours interviewing Judge Shake. He was considered an advisor for the film. Dennis suddenly realized that this quiet-spoken man, which whom he had lunched with many times and had him as a guest on his own show, was a much more complex man than he realized. In many ways, Judge Curtis Shake did it all. He helped found a national fraternity. He was president of an important college. He practiced law until he was nearly 90. He was Chief Justice of the Indiana Supreme Court. And when the world needed him most, he went to Nuremberg to represent the best in law and order and tradition at one of the most closely watched trials. Let's say his name again, partners. Judge Curtis Shake. By the way, Dennis tells me that one night on the air when he was mentioning Judge Shake in a local news story, Dennis accidentally called him Judge Circus Cake instead of Curtis Shake. Dennis is not sure that the judge heard it, but he thinks he would have gotten a big laugh out of it. He was that kind of guy. Okay, partners, you know the drill. Look up and find that red X at the top. Click on it and you'll be whooshed right back here. Dennis, I'm so glad that you gave me these guys. Judge Curtis Shake is just one of the many that you give us every week. I'm so proud to have you as my researcher and writer. And everybody says, hey, Dennis is the greatest thing in the world. Bless his heart. I love being here like this every week. And I want to tell you one thing. I love you guys too. Go get 'em, Tigers!